artificial intelligence, or AI, is rapidly transforming our lives, including the way we approach education. While it offers powerful tools for writing, research, and problem solving, it also raises important concerns about child development, safety, and responsible use. Joining us to tackle this issue is one of the University of Washington's leading researchers and author of Technology's Child, Dr. Katie Davis. Welcome to New Day.
Thank you so much for having me, Kelly.
So education today, vastly different than when I grew up, for sure, especially with the introduction of AI. So how is AI changing education?
Well, I think the interesting thing to consider is that right now where we are, I think it feels like both everything is changing, but also nothing is changing. And what I mean by that is I started my career off in the early 2000s as an elementary school teacher. And when I walked into my first classroom, it looked pretty much identical to my classroom as when I was an elementary school student. There was maybe not a blackboard, but a whiteboard, and, the desk configured in the same configuration, and pretty much kids learning the same sorts of things, multiplication in third grade, things like that. Fast forward, my son is now in third grade. He's learning multiplication. Things look very similar. Maybe the whiteboard is now a smart board, but typically things are still the same. But just under the surface, we're finding teachers are now using AI to create their lesson plans, to help them create worksheets. Kids are, especially the older kids, middle school, high school, they're using AI to help them to write essays, but importantly, I think it's important to underscore that it's not all about cheating. So kids are not just using AI to cheat on tests and to do their homework for them. They're using them as study buddies, and they're using them to create flashcards and test questions and as thought partners to think with. So there's a lot of ways that both teachers and students are using AI, and it's not just about cheating.
Okay, because sometimes I think like, oh, I'll just have AI write this essay, and that's not the case, which is good to hear. AI simplifies writing, though, research and problem solving, like we discussed. So how can we ensure that those tools don't hinder children's development?
Absolutely. So this is, I think, something that I think a lot about as a parent and as a researcher studying kids and how they're using AI. I think the key thing here is this distinction between are kids using AI as a thought partner or as a thought replacer? And I think that distinction is really important to keep in mind. So if you use AI maybe to help you get over that staring at the blank page, just to kind of get you going, to bounce ideas off of, lots of kids and adults are using AI to brainstorm and just get started. It can be intimidating to look at a blank page. So to get started and to explore a little bit, that's totally fine. But when you start to outsource all your thinking to an AI chatbot, that's where we start to get concerned. And that's where I'm getting concerned with my own thinking. I'm turning more and more to AI. I see my students at the University of Washington, they're using AI. We recently did a study where we were looking at the chat logs of young adults and just how they were talking with AI, and pretty much they're just going to AI for everything, like anything from makeup tips, nutrition, advice on how to talk to someone for the first time, schoolwork, everything. And so where does that tip over into, I don't have my own thoughts anymore? So that's, I think, the major concern.
Good point. And another concern, I feel like, validation. AI can be, is agreeable, so you can use it more and more.
Absolutely.
So how do we ensure that children still learn to accept criticism?
This is huge, I think. And you have to keep in mind that these AI chatbots, ChatGPT, Character AI, you name it, they are sycophants by design. And so they are designed to be agreeable and to validate us unconditionally. And validation, of course, is very important for child development, but it's kind of like when you're creating a pearl out of an oyster, you need a little bit of sand, you need a bit of an irritant. Kids need someone to push back on them so that they can develop resilience. And what we're seeing is that more and more kids are turning to AI chatbots as companions. And actually, recently, just a month or so ago, Common Sense Media came out with a report showing that almost 3/4 of American teens are using AI as a companion, and almost, or just over half of them are using AI companions regularly. So going to AI for advice, for information, for entertainment, but more and more as a companion. And I think the vast majority of these interactions are probably very benign, but we're hearing increasingly reports of teens who are really developing emotional attachments to AI chatbots, and a few teens who have even taken their lives as a result of talking with AI chatbots. Now, this is by no means to be a fearmonger. This is by no means all teens or even a majority of teens, but it is concerning because you can really go down a rabbit hole with some AI chatbots, and they are created and designed with guardrails, but the more you use them, you can kind of jailbreak out of those guardrails and kind of get into some pretty deep conversations and some dark conversations.
Gosh, well, thank you so much. Such an important conversation.
Yes.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much.